There have been some great boxing movies, and we've already ranked the best of them. If you haven't already, check out our video of the 10 best boxing movies of all time. In making that video, we came across some boxing movies that one may have expected to be strong contenders to make the top 10 cut. In fact, the 5 movies on this list of the most overrated/disappointing boxing movies of all time appear on the top 10 list made by others, which is precisely why these flawed pictures deserve, instead, their placement in this video. Not included are very good boxing movies that just barely missed out on the 10 best boxing movies video. Nor are boxing movies that most already consider bad movies included, so no Annapolis. Or Play It to the Bone. That would be an entirely different list. Also not included are movies that may be bad, but we kind of like them for that reason. Looking your way, Rocky sequels. This list will be presented in chronological order. First is The Champ, from 1931. While an old film such as this isn't so much overrated today as it's largely unseen, it still counts as overrated and disappointing for the fan of classic cinema. As of this video, it maintains a respectable 7.3 on IMDb. In its day, it was nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, and unaccountably won awards for the worst aspects of the film, its screenplay and its lead actor, Wallace Beery. The film's writer, Frances Marion, was a historically important scenarist, but she clearly knew next to nothing about boxing and the obese. Balding, mid-40s aged Wallace Beery is literally unfit for the role of a boxer. Any boxer, let alone a champion, as the film states. Furthermore, Beery's character is an alcoholic and gambling addict, and yet, unbelievably, he gets a title shot after an unknown length of time between when he lost the title and without any reference to fights between the title bouts. There's actually a real-world referent that could have been used for this story. Former heavyweight champ James J. Jeffries came out of retirement weighing 330 pounds, but he lost over 100 of those pounds while putting on muscle before he was clobbered in his comeback attempt in the so-called fight of the century against Jack Johnson. Regardless, the film's climactic fight scene is laughable in how bad it is, with neither actor demonstrating any boxing skill whatsoever. The Champ does have its moments outside of the ring, as the film focuses on a father and son relationship, but even this is ruined by a poorly acted and farcically manipulative ending. Second on the list, and the last of the very old movies to be included, we promise, is Gentleman Jim of 1942. Gentleman Jim seems to have held up slightly better today than has The Champ. As of this video, it has a 7.7 rating on IMDb, and some critics continue to insist that it's a classic. Whereas The Champ was a father of the boxing film genre, Gentleman Jim is a precursor of the action boxing flick, as it served as a vehicle for swashbuckling star Errol Flynn, setting the stage for later action stars like Sylvester Stallone and Russell Crowe to make boxing movies. Gentleman Jim is also an unreliable biopic of 19th century heavyweight champion and so-called father of modern boxing, James J. Corbett. One thing lacking from this piece of classic Hollywood is dramatic tension. Gentleman Jim overcomes obstacles in the plot, with an offsetting amount of grace supposedly special to the gentlemanly class of athletes. Besides the airs of classism, the film is also racist. Not overtly in the way, say, The Birth of a Nation, or even Gone with the Wind are either, which is probably why nobody seems to talk about it. No, this film is especially cowardly in its racism to the point of even showing African Americans on screen in a non-subservient position. The only black character in this film is a bit part of a servant without lines and who makes a few dumb reaction faces at a white people's party. And although the film features some very good boxing scenes for its time, it only mentions and never shows the ridiculously long 61 rounds bout between Corbett and Peter Jackson. Yes, Jackson was black. Third on the list, and bringing us into more recent times, is The Hurricane, released in 1999. Like Gentleman Jim, however, and countless other movies, The Hurricane is another fabricated, supposedly based on a true story adaptation. The real-life Reuben Carter was not the saint portrayed here, nor was his case as clear-cut a matter of injustice as depicted in the film. The movie also dumbs down racism, largely restricting it to the fictional character of Della Pesca, who's so racist he has nothing better to do than continually frame Carter for some 40 years. They may as well have just named the character Straw Man. The film even lies about Carter's boxing career, making it appear that his loss to champ Joey Giardello was a racist fix. The real-life Giardello settled a libel case against the film's producers out of court. Nevertheless, critics continue to praise the film for its supposedly brave depiction against racism and injustice. It has a good IMDb score of 7.6, a certified fresh rating of 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it received quite a few awards upon release. Not overrated or disappointing, on the other hand, are Bob Dylan's song and Denzel Washington's intense, Oscar-nominated performance. Admittedly, the movie is at least entertaining because of those two. Fourth on this list is Cinderella Man, released in 2005. With 3 Oscar nominations, a solid 8 rating on IMDb, and an 80% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and almost a guarantee to be on most lists of best boxing movies, Cinderella Man is an overwhelming case of an overrated and disappointing movie. Altering historical facts in this case is director Ron Howard for yet another of his formulaic and overly sentimental popcorn flicks. The real-life story of James J. Braddock is turned into a hackneyed underdog tale of good overcoming evil, a la Rocky 3-5 and too many other movies to count. The real-life champ Max Baer is transformed into a one-dimensional personification of evil, a monster who supposedly relishes having killed 2 men in the ring. If you're going to have a cartoon villain, at least don't base him on a real person. Draw one yourself, like they did for the Hurricanes. To see a better portrayal of Baer and a better movie in general, check out Baer playing some version of himself in the 1933 film The Prizefighter and the Lady. Anyways, Cinderella Man is a slick enough production to feature some decent acting and period atmosphere for its Great Depression setting. Last but, well, no, it's the least too, is Southpaw, released in 2015. Inexplicably, this movie has a 7.4 rating on IMDb, and relative to its budget, might be the biggest box office success on this list. Nevertheless, Southpaw is certainly not the first and surely not the last boxing movie to waste an all-star cast. One can see that Jake Gyllenhaal tried hard in this one. He transformed his body for a role once again, and he sure does grimace a lot. Rachel McAdams, Forrest Whitaker, and 50 Cent, however, are entirely wasted on this generic redemption narrative, with a shamefully sappy father-daughter angle. Writer Kurt Sutter apparently didn't change a thing from the formulas of the TV work he is otherwise known for, including their unsubtle, hackneyed, and maudlin soap opera-like antics. Even the boxing scenes are like TV here, and are essentially an HBO promo. Rocky Balboa, by the way, integrated TV into its boxing scenes much better a decade earlier. Don't be surprised if Southpaw receives less praise and begins to look very dated as the years pass by, and when the all-star cast isn't as popular anymore. Thanks for watching. What boxing movies did you find overrated or disappointing? Do you disagree with the selections in our list? We'd like to hear your thoughts on boxing movies in the comments below, and please like and subscribe.